We're just about ready for the command to start the engines to get these 43 cars and drivers underway for 500 laps of competition at Bristol.
The 1999 Goody's Headache Powder 500 took place at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee on August 28, 1999. The track was absolutely packed with over 140,000 people in the stands that got to see arguably one of NASCAR's most iconic races. Rookie Tony Stewart was on the pole for Joe Gibbs Racing with an average speed of 124.589 miles per hour. Dale Earnhardt would roll off in the 26th starting position.
And the green is out. The Goody's Headache Powder 500 is underway, and Rusty Wallace is going to beat Tony Stewart to the first turn by a whole bunch.
He did. He kept waiting for Tony to accelerate, and Tony was a little bit slow getting on it, and Rusty took off.
Laps in the spring, trying to become the 10th driver in NASCAR Winston Cup history to win 50 events. He has 49 in his portfolio right now.
Oh, contact!
On the car into the wall. It's Robert Presley.
He was one of two cars. Michael Waltrip with the other was caught up on the outside. No caution yet because he continues on around at a slow pace. Caution is out now.
Rusty Wallace got quite the jump on Tony Stewart to take the lead early in the race. As you see, it didn't take long for the first caution to come out and drivers to find trouble. Kenny Schrader made contact with Robert Presley, putting him in the wall, bringing out the first yellow flag of the day. Or should I say, night.
Right there we see the contact, and wow, hard contact in the wall by Presley.
Rusty Wallace would lead the field back to green on lap 10.
Racetrack. As the crowd cheers the green flag, it drops once again with Rusty again. Going to get a pretty good jump on Tony Stewart.
Everybody's single file right now.
A few laps after the restart, Jeremy Mayfield would hit pit road with a bad vibration, taking 4 tires to hopefully fix the issue. Unfortunately, this would put him several laps down, early on in the race. Mike Skinner would be the next one to find trouble. Running inside the top 10, Kenny Irwin gets into his rear bumper, sends him up the track and making contact with the wall. The car would be damaged, but he would be able to continue on, and no yellow flag was needed.
Has some good race cars.
And here it is once again. Oh, little tap.
Yep, just a little bit again. Got him out of shape. Ooh, very out of shape.
Man, that was a great job by Mike Skinner to keep that Lowe's car under control.
On lap 26, Tony Stewart would retake the lead from Rusty Wallace after putting immense pressure on him since the restart. During the commercial break, on lap 77, the yellow flag would fly once again, this time for a multi-car incident involving points leader Dale Jarrett and several others.
Here's a replay of what happened.
Coming off turn 2, we see DJ there, just comes off the corner. He was trying to get underneath the 5 car and nail the gas and got it out of control. We start that hospital wobble and back and forth, and now he goes back across the racetrack. I was hoping he wouldn't do that, but here comes Elliott, bam, right in the side of that. We see Jeremy, Bobby Hamilton, Elliott Sadler, and John Andretti, and also the 58 car. On board with DJ. Bill Elliott, let's ride on board. McDonald's on board.
I was hoping he'll stay up there, but he did. He comes right out in front of Bill Elliott. Bill had nowhere to go.
The leaders would hit pit road under this caution. Dale Jarrett's team would continue to make repairs under the yellow, and one thing that I've noticed that's actually happened weirdly a lot in the making of all the videos that are on my channel so far, the broadcaster completely misses the restart. In this case, it's ESPN, and I just don't understand how this happened so much back in the day. It's such an important part of the race.
We're back to racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That is Jerry Nagu in the 36 car. He has gotten his lap back on the restart at the moment. He's running in 28th position. The leader remains Tony Stewart. There's Jeff Gordon running in second. Rusty is third. Mark Martin fourth. And Sterling Marlin is fifth.
The 99 car, Jeff Burt, is a lap down.
Just 14 laps after the restart, points leader Dale Jarrett would find himself in trouble again, this time putting enough damage to his car to put him behind the wall.
Coming off of turn 4. DJ had tried to move down to the inside and get out of the way. He knew they were coming.
Still being held there. This seems like an hour, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Jerry Nadeau, who did a hell of a job getting his lap back on the restart and getting ahead of Tony Stewart to get back on the lead lap, got into the rear of DJ and spun him out. Because of this, NASCAR decided to penalize Jerry Nadeau for 2 laps, as they felt that it was just unnecessary.
So they watch Jerry Nadeau come up from behind.
In typical ESPN fashion, they somehow missed the restart again. This is comical at this point.
Stewart is still the leader, and a couple of black cars once again position themselves between Tony and second place Jeff Gordon.
Sterling Marlin tried to go on the inside of Rusty Wallace, and he's already gotten by Mark Martin, has moved into 4th. This is a battle for 3rd spot, so put Sterling in 3rd position.
And here comes Mark Martin down to the inside of Wallace. He'll take over the 4th position.
Shortly after the restart, the epic finish of this race almost never happened if this situation turned out a little bit differently, as Terry Labonte and Jeffrey Bodine made contact going into turn number 1. Fortunately, both cars were able to continue on without much issue. The 4th caution of the night would come out when Steve Grissom got loose going into the turn and backed heavily into the outside wall, fortunately not collecting anybody else in this incident.
There he is up on the outside, and I don't know, that left front tire was flat when we saw him there a moment ago pulling away. Now, I don't know if that was as a result of locking the tire wheels up probably and wearing through.
All the leaders would hit pit road under this caution, and Tony Stewart would maintain his lead of the race. Miraculously, this restart was not missed by ESPN, and we actually got to see it.
It's all the way around the top of it. It is something to see. The green flag is out, and the Goody's heading is back under green flag conditions.
Mark Skinner will be trying to get a lap back down on the inside of Tony Stewart, but Stewart looks like he's
Wow, that was close off turn 2. There's Skinner. Trying to eat right now. Oh, some contact between
Marlin and Gordon
for 2nd position. Jeff Gordon's car, that Goodyear's completely worn off.
With just under 300 laps to go in the race, Dale Earnhardt takes the 9th position from Jeffrey Bodine. Dale started 26th and moved up to the top 10 pretty quickly, but he's been pretty stagnant around 9th or 10th. Every time Dale pits, he was at a disadvantage by pitting on the backstretch. Back then, Bristol was not one big long pit road as it is today, and anyone who pitted on the back was at a huge disadvantage to any driver that was pitting on the front stretch. The 5th caution of the race would end a 91-lap green flag run. David Green tried to avoid getting into Chad Little and ended up spinning himself out into the wall. Another single car accident that fortunately didn't take out anybody else.
In the fence. Once again, there we see the 31, the 16, and the 97 all jammed up in front of David Green, and bam, in the wall he goes.
Jeff Gordon would beat Tony Stewart off pit road to take the lead, and remember what I said about the disadvantage of Earnhardt pitting on the backstretch? He came into the pits in 5th spot and ended up leaving in 10th.
2, and Dale Earnhardt loses 5. That's not unprecedented because he is pitting on the backstretch.
After leading pretty much the entire first half of the race, Tony Stewart would restart in 3rd. Jeff Gordon would lead the field back to green.
Earnhardt's crew, a slight air pressure adjustment. The car still a little tight in the center of the corners.
The green flag run would be short-lived of only 6 laps when a multi-car accident on the front stretch took place between Hut Strickland, Dave Marcus, and Johnny Benson.
Forward and said there must be going to be a wreck here, and sure enough, there we see Kyle Petty, Hut Strickland, and Johnny Benson. There we see Kyle and Hut making contact, and there Hut just barely touches Johnny Benson as he goes by. The camera follows Hut Strickland because he's crashing, But meanwhile, Johnny Benson is crashing down in turn 1.
Slid all the way down the front stretch and crashed down in turn 1.
And then Dave Marcus apparently slowed down, probably got hit from behind, and he spun out.
There's Dave Marcus as the NASCAR officials signal to.
Can I just say real quick, these aerial shots of a packed Bristol night race is just such a sight to see. So cool. As Jeff Gordon would lead the field back to green on lap 268.
Seats will be built down in turns 1 and 2, bringing the capacity to more than 147. Tickets go on sale next week. We're back to caution. Tony Stewart, Benny, you big dummy, was in front at the end of 250 laps. It was under green, so he wins the $10,000.
I think what happened, they came around and got the caution on lap 250, but that counts because he was still under green until he got to the start-finish line.
They're the top 3, Gordon, Martin, and Tony Stewart.
Shortly after the restart, Rusty Wallace would take himself out of contention here, unfortunately having a tire going down. And with old Bristol, the only preferred line around the bottom, it was basically like a conveyor belt of cars going by him on the inside. And he was basically just stuck there until he can find a hole. And unfortunately for Rusty, it took several laps. He's very lucky that he never got run over, but he was eventually just able to get to the bottom of the track, get out of the way, and make it to pit road for an unfortunate, unscheduled green flag pit stop. Lap 291 would see the 7th caution of the night. Jeremy Mayfield got spun out by Chad Little, which also ended up collecting the 25 of Wally Dallenbach.
I think the 25 runs into him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. You can see he tries to get slowed down to 25 of Wally Dallenbach, but the leaders were coming right up on this.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart got by Gordon in that
Got
little
by
exchange.
Mark Martin, into second position. Now
Okay.
from Wally Dallenbach.
And there you see the contact between Chad Little and the John Deere, the green car, and Jeremy Mayfield. And they meet nose to nose right there. What a terrible place to meet.
So ESPN was on an absolute roll here. So during the commercial, the race went back green for 3 whole laps. Then another accident happened, and ESPN managed to miss it all. But despite the horrible directing, or whatever you want to call it, the cameramen were on point, as this incident in turn 4 involved Mike Skinner, Kenny Irwin, and Ward Burton.
That's disaster. Watch this when they go down in the corner. Bobby Labonte is there. There we see Kenny Irwin, the 28 car, and the 36 car of Jerry Nadeau make contact. And there we see the 22 car of Ward Burton going to crash.
From the Pennzoil copter cam, there's the contact that sends Irwin sideways, and then the chain reaction.
Mike Skinner, we see the Lowe's car also involved.
Ward Burton was on the lead lap and was involved as
For the first time all night, we would see some strategy being played. The leaders hit pit road, but some drivers elected to stay on the racetrack. When the restart started, Jeff Burton was actually in the front, but he was actually on the tail end of the lead lap. Same with Kenny Schrader, and Terry Labonte would actually be in the lead of the race with Dale Earnhardt in second. The top 5 cars all stayed on the racetrack, with Jeff Gordon being the first one on fresher tires in the 6th spot.
Now, the first 5 cars did not pit on this. Jeff Gordon won the race off pit road. He currently is in the 6th position.
the leader is Terry Labonte. Dale Earnhardt is second. Jimmy Spencer is third. Jeffrey Bodine fourth, and Ricky Rudd is in 5th position. Those 5 did not make pit stops during this caution.
But they stopped about 10 laps ago, so it's not like they're out there on old tires. They only have about 5 or 6 laps on the tires they have on their cars.
And once again, we see Dale Earnhardt up front.
This restart would actually kick off the longest green flag run of the entire night of 106 laps. Several laps after the restart, it became apparent that this race very well may come down to Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. Earnhardt never let Terry Labonte out of his sights the entire run and made this awesome move on the outside at Bristol using the lap car as a pick to take the lead.
One of them, Earnhardt has the lead. On lap 380, Dale Earnhardt passes Terry Labonte and takes over the front spot.
With 92 laps to go and Earnhardt still in front of Terry Labonte, Dave Marcus would slow on the racetrack, bringing out the yellow. NASCAR thought he did this intentionally and actually penalized him 1 lap. Didn't really matter, I believe he was already 64 laps down at this point. And some NASCAR conspiracy theorists thought he intentionally did this on purpose to help Dale Earnhardt out, given his alliance with Richard Childress Racing, but that literally doesn't make any sense because pitting under caution for Dale Earnhardt is a huge disadvantage because he's on the back straightaway. As you'll see here, he loses the lead.
Tire change as we watch for the guys on the pitting on the front stretch, and here they come. Terry Labonte won that battle over his teammate Jeff Gordon. They swing by. There's 2 spots that Earnhardt lost, but that's all he's going to lose. A great pit stop for Dale Earnhardt as he goes back out in 3rd position, and the crew extremely happy about that.
So, as you can see, Earnhardt ended up losing 2 spots to Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon by simply pitting on the backstretch.
Right now it is Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon ahead of Earnhardt as the pace car gets set to pull off the racetrack, and the green flag gets set to wave in the air once again. Tony Stewart is 4th and Bobby Labonte 5th.
Terry Labonte gets a good start there. Gets out in front of the lap car of Ward Burton.
Oh, Earnhardt goes in for contact with Jeffrey Bodine.
Didn't lose a spot.
Terry Labonte was able to clear the lap cars really quickly, but Dale Earnhardt gets run into by Jeffrey Bodine, who is a lapped car, and that could have ended up bad, but fortunately for Earnhardt, he continued on, and Jeffrey Bodine wisely backed off in the next turn.
And Earnhardt's going on the outside of Jeff Gordon 1 and 2 for that 2nd spot, and the crowd goes nuts.
Dale Earnhardt with another incredible move to the outside of Jeff Gordon with only 75 laps to go in the race to take the 2nd spot. Benny Parsons with an epic call there. BP will forever be one of my favorite NASCAR commentators. And you could see the epic conclusion to this race starting to shape up, as Jeff Gordon just did not have the pace of Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt at this point in the race. Dale immediately started putting pressure on Terry Labonte, and with 66 laps to go in the race, he was able to retake the lead from Terry Labonte.
Possibly finish tonight with 38th at 1 more position.
Here goes Earnhardt. He's on the inside. He's got position. He's going for the lead.
Off of corner number 4, Earnhardt will take the lead from Terry Labonte on lap 4:36.
And look at this 20 car coming. Tony Stewart is on a mission. It didn't take him long to run him down.
Unfortunately for Dale, the lead would be short-lived, as only 4 laps later, under a commercial break, Terry Labonte would retake the lead from Earnhardt. With Terry Labonte driving away from Earnhardt and only 13 laps to go, it really looked like Terry Labonte had this race wrapped up. That was until his brother Bobby Labonte blew an engine, putting fluid on the track. Jeremy Mayfield, who's had an extremely rough night, would get in his 3rd accident by getting in the oil and spinning out. The leader Terry Labonte was right there, and Darrell Waltrip, who was a lapped car, accidentally got into the back of Labonte and spun him out, giving Dale Earnhardt the lead.
Well, if you watched the 12 car, Jeremy Mayfield was sitting against the inside retaining wall. NASCAR threw the caution flag. When they did that, Terry Labonte backed off to the caution, and Darrell Walker just touched him in the back bumper and spun the Kellogg's Chevrolet around.
With no damage done to the car and so few cars on the lead lap, it was a no-brainer for Terry Labonte to come down and get 4 fresh tires. Mostly everybody else stayed out, and with Earnhardt on the backstretch, there was no way he could come to pit road. Terry would end up restarting in the 5th spot. If you still have no idea what's coming, I'll just let you enjoy these last 5 laps.
All right, green flag.
5 laps to go at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. It's Earnhardt, Stewart, Gordon, Martin, and Terry Labonte, the top 5. Is Dale Earnhardt going to win this thing?
Looks that way. Terry Labonte on the inside of Mark Martin. He goes by.
He's got 4 new tires.
Well, Martin had 2 new tires, and Ricky Rudd goes by him. Drops Mark back to the 7th position. And here comes Labonte by Gordon. He's moving.
Man on a mission.
He really is on a mission. And of course, he has those 4 fresh tires, as you say. If he can get by Stewart, which it looks like he will.
Man, oh man, look at Labonte go. He's got 2nd, and they're coming up on 2 laps to go.
He's going to catch him. Can he pass him?
This might be deja vu all over again, but in reverse.
And Labonte inside of Earnhardt. He taps him going into the third corner. He gets way down on the apron of the track, coming to the white flag. There's a leader change, and Labonte takes the lead.
And meanwhile, Ricky Rudd trying to...
Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out.
Oh, man.
And Tony Stewart is involved in the crash, as is Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin, and several others. Dale Earnhardt takes the checkered flag.
And Jimmy Spencer ran second.
I don't care what anyone says, that is short track racing at its finest right there. Dale Earnhardt would simply just not be denied, and he got into the back of Terry and spun him out. I literally got goosebumps watching this, making this video, and I don't understand why that same excitement just can't be recreated today for some reason in NASCAR. And this race right here is one of the reasons why Bristol has the popularity that it does.
There we see the contact between the 3 and the 5. Terry Labonte stands on the gas, and all these cars getting the smoke. There's Ricky Rudd crashing into him. There's Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin. There we see the contact.
This would be Dale's 9th win at Bristol, and 26 is the furthest back any Bristol winner has started. Dale's post-race interview here would be one of the most iconic interviews in NASCAR history, and NASCAR still uses his quote from this interview to this day to promote the night race at Bristol.
Here's a McDonald's winner's circle, Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale Earnhardt climbs out with his 9th victory at Bristol. And Dale, that's what Bristol's all about. Take us through those last couple laps.
Well, we knew we didn't get tires, and I didn't know who got tires behind us. All I knew is I needed to protect that bottom and try to go. And Terry got into me in the middle of 3 and 4, and I was going to get back to him and just rattle him. I wasn't going to wreck him, but I got to him and he turned him around. So didn't mean to really turn around, meant to rattle his cage, though.
You had an outstanding effort coming from 26 to the front. The track come to you tonight.
Well, not really. The car was still a little tight center, and I don't know. This is a heck of a way to win. I'd like to beat Terry and raced him back, side by side. But like I say, I got into him a little bit to get by him, and it got him loose and spun him out. But the Goodwrench team, Richard Childress, all the guys, they did a great job. We just lucky to be there at the end.
On the last restart, Dale, it looked like you were able to charge and go by Labonte, and he went back by you. Did your tires heat up a little bit and go away?
On the last restart, he had stickers, didn't he? I don't, he just he'd have beat us if, I was going to just try to shake him and get under him. I wasn't going to try to wreck him.
All right, Dale Earnhardt, obviously happy in victory, but mixed emotions. Doesn't like to be able to turn anybody, including his buddy Terry Labonte, as Richard Childress comes over and gives him a big hug, and now the celebration will continue. The Intimidator's 73rd career victory.
When I make my content on my channel, I try to be non-biased as possible, but when it comes to Dale Earnhardt, I'm biased as hell. That man was my hero when I was a kid, and still is to this day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know this was a longer one, but I like to get every detail that I possibly can in these videos, especially these important historic races throughout racing history. So if you stuck around this long, thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or dislike it if you didn't like it. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for more great motorsports content just like this, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Take care.